That was for Willie. How about for us?
Yeah. Now it's
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
a little more tepid for you.
Yeah, I know. It's all right.
How's everybody doing out there? I gotta be honest with you, I think there was a mix-up. I was told I was coming to interview Cameron Diaz downstairs.
Yeah. I was told that I was with her as well.
The only way we were able to get you.
Yeah.
You have to understand, this is way past Willie's bedtime. He's got to be up pretty early.
Pushing it.
Yeah.
But instead of Cameron Diaz, we have these two fine goons. So I'm happy to be here with you. How many huge, crazy Property Brothers fans are in this room right now?
It's very hard to see you right now
It
because
is.
of the lights. So I think there's one lady in a white shirt. I see the arms going like this.
We asked them to put it at a sexy tone. Y'all look great.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very sexy.
I don't know if you guys know the history between the three of us up here, but we've got history with Willie.
Has anybody seen us on the Today Show? Anybody seen that?
Okay. Well, we had a pranking war last year. We were going back and forth with pranking war. It started on the Today Show, and now did I get you?
It started on Meredith's show.
But we did.
I thought we did one before that.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then so we pranked him.
Right.
Yeah, where we were showing him how to spray some lawn if you wanted to turn it green, whatever. But we'd actually just rigged this whole segment, and it exploded baby powder. It covered him in white baby powder. It was the best thing ever, best picture ever.
Delicious.
So then on the Meredith show, then there was another one. Oh no, I'm the other way around. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he pranked back and forth. So he threatened. He said, if I'm coming down today, I may prank you or I may not.
Uh-oh.
So I
didn't know.
Everybody stand your toes.
Yeah.
He's brushing aside the worst of the pranks, which is actually how it started on Meredith Vieira's show. We were all guests on the show, and there was a home segment, a home repair segment. They said, would you mind coming out and being a part of it? I said, sure, of course. I love these guys. I love Meredith. So I put on the coveralls, I get the goggles, and the prank ultimately was that Meredith and I were competing in these events, and we had a handsaw out, and she suddenly goes, oh my God, and screams for her life, picks up her hand as though she'd cut her fingers off.
And it was spraying blood.
She had this rig in her arm.
blood.
And they did a zoom in on Willie's face, and they did like this freeze frame, and it was just this like,
The work
I was
was
frozen. I was frozen.
No, actually, as a matter of fact, you went like, because we had the SNL, the Saturday Night Live props people set up the fake spraying blood and everything. And so Willie was like, yes, he's like, and then he like just
slowly
moonwalked out of the whole thing.
I was floating. I didn't know what to do. Then I went back to get help, and then it struck me, this is too sick to be real. And I went back, and Meredith, this is their idea of fun.
She's got a great sense of humor, though, too.
So that was a prank.
I've spent a lot of time around paint fumes, so that's what caused it.
Okay, at least you have an excuse for it. Okay, I know a lot of people in this room know the guy's story and their background, but I want to hear it a little bit, how this started, how you got into real estate at such a young age, and how you got into general contracting and building and fixing upping and all that stuff.
Playing in dirt and getting dirty.
Yeah.
He started that at a young age.
This is the most interesting part is people don't realize we both started doing the construction in the very beginning. We both, because we were coming out of high school, we didn't want to be struggling artists.
Used to be bigger.
Yeah.
So we were actors as kids, and Drew's a director, and I'm a magician, so I performed. Whoa. And we wanted to fund our creative endeavors.
That's Jonathan, by the way. Yeah, so, I was an actor, a magician. Anyway, and he continues on, like that's nothing.
Yeah, hey.
Do you still have tricks? Sorry to interrupt you. Can you still do tricks?
Oh, I turn tricks all the time.
He lives in Vegas. You should see him on a pole. He lives in Vegas.
Yeah.
I do. I perform. I actually performed with David Copperfield last week, 2 weeks ago in Vegas. I did, yeah. So there's all kinds. That's for Brother versus Brother. You'll see all kinds of fun things that we do. But so that's what our whole goal was. We were coming out of high school and we did not want to be struggling artists. So we're like, let's invest in real estate. So we bought every book you could possibly imagine on how to make money in real estate, and we even bought infomercials. There was a guy, I think his name was Carlton Sheets back in the day or something. It was an infomercial
Make
with
your million
babes
in real estate, babes and boats, yeah.
And most of that was sort of BS, but we got enough that we were able to buy our first place at 18.
18 years old.
18, yeah. We did graduate high school. At the time we were in Canada, we were in Vancouver, and we heard Calgary was a booming market, so we popped over to Calgary. My parents actually had our family ranch was just south of Calgary. So we were full-time students at the University of Calgary, and we got our first house, a $200,000 house for a down payment of $250. Anyone want to know how? Why?
Yeah, please elaborate.
So at the time,
trade secret.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people think that there's only one conventional way of buying real estate. You you submit for a mortgage, you get qualified, and that's how you do it. But there are other ways. At the time, you could assume a mortgage from somebody else without qualifying. Great idea. And then,
well, the main concept was if somebody couldn't afford their payments anymore and they needed to sell, you could take it over so that they didn't default. And so that's what the product
so
was.
nothing's safer than 2 full-time students that are right out of high school
Right.
taking over your property.
And
Anyway.
ladies and gentlemen, this is how the United States economy collapsed.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
2008.
Luckily, we made our payments, and then we also, for the balance of what we would have owed, we had a vendor take back. The seller basically wanted to sell so badly that he said that he will do a second mortgage for us, and then we paid that off after a year. After a year on that property, we made a $50K profit when we sold it. Then we thought, okay, there's something we can do here. So we continued investing and continued flipping houses, and it actually was mid to late 90s. It wasn't until 2004 that I actually licensed as an agent and started representing clients because we had friends and family saying, can you guys do for us what you're doing for yourselves?
Did you flip that first house? In other words, did you repair it and do all that kind of
Barely
stuff?
did anything, actually.
Yeah, that house, the previous owner had a stucco fetish. So there was stucco everywhere, on the inside walls, on the outside, the fence, everything was stucco on that place. So our main renovation was just getting rid of all of this god ugly stucco and just making it
But
feel
how did you
finished.
know how to do that? Where did that come from?
So back then you didn't have, the internet was not what it was today. We were running off of 52K modems and stuff like that. Or 56K. I don't know why I corrected myself on that.
Yeah, nobody
so
knows.
No one cared.
So
Showing us the nerd side.
the funny thing was we had grown up on a ranch. So I built our first house with my dad when we were 14.
Okay.
And so we'd built barns and things like that. So we knew kind of what we were doing. But then so we started flipping properties, and we did, I don't even know how many. We did a dozen properties or something, a couple dozen properties. And then I went to school for construction and design. So we still had subtrades that were working with us on some stuff. Then I realized after I went to school for construction, I was like, oh, that's how you do it right. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff you learn where you're like,
Yeah, we actually, the one thing that we noticed that isn't a good design feature that we learned in that house, so there were 7 college students living in a house together. And I was like Molly Maid. I'm like a clean freak, and so I had like the little apron on. I was always cleaning behind people. Clean your dishes, get the pots out of the.
he was an annoying roommate.
Yeah, but anyway, the master bathroom, or the main bathroom, the house only had 2 bathrooms. It had shag brown carpet all the way around in the bathroom, but around the toilet, it was all wavy. And
worst
when you
thing
stepped on it, it would
No.
crunch. It was all crunchy.
not
So we learned that you don't want shag carpet in a bathroom. Great design tip for you guys. That's not in the book. That's a little extra just for you. Yeah.
It's like when someone says, don't eat yellow snow. Don't walk on crunchy carpet. There's just something wrong with it.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
But it was a good experience. I mean, we learned that was rental. We learned the shared accommodation, how to deal with rental. We had been learning about flip properties, and as we continued, and then actually before Property Brothers came along, before we were pitched the show, I was pitched for a show. I don't even know if you know this.
No.
So obviously, I'm the more talented brother. What the
wait
show
till you
was?
hear the idea.
Yeah. This production company approached me, and they saw that I was a real estate agent. This is when I went back to Vancouver. I was trying to do more acting, and I started getting put out for host auditions because I'd been 10 years a real estate agent. And anyway, the show was Realtor Idol. It's basically American Idol for realtors.
Was it literally called?
It was
Realtor
called
Idol, yeah. And I have a beautiful
dumbest
voice.
idea. So he calls me. He was living in Vancouver. He calls me up. He's like, "Yeah, this is exciting. I'm shooting this sizzle, and it's for the show." And he's like, kind of shuffling aside, yada-yadaing past all of I'm like, what's the name of the show? He's like, Realtor Idol, and I burst out laughing on the phone. I'm like, your career is dead before it started. That is just not going to happen.
I don't really care, but I'll ask anyway. What's the conceit of Realtor Idol?
It was a competition of realtors actually doing the realtor thing, so it wasn't actually singing.
The winning song
Hope
was,
not.
"A mortgage like this, my amortization." Never mind.
It was so bad, but then they found out I had a brother who was a contractor, and so that same company said to us, "Hey, well, we have the show idea." They were calling it Dream Home. Hey, look at that.
Whoa.
These guys are really good.
Full
They know how to
circle.
sell.
And they pitched it to us, and it was basically what we were already doing with clients at the time. And the funny thing is, here's a little tidbit. So first of all, we shot a little sizzle, and they pitched it to HGTV in the U.S. And at the time, that wasn't like a lot of their other programming. They're like, 2 brothers doing renos. I don't think that's not really a fit for us. HGTV Canada said the same thing, and then W Network, a smaller network in Canada, they said we'll give it a shot. And within 3 weeks, we were the #1 show of the night. Within a few more weeks after that, we were the #1 show on the entire network. And so they were all blown away. And so HGTV Canada came back and bought a half-hour cut-down
US.
or say HGTV US bought a half-hour cut-down version of the show just to test it out. Within 3 weeks, we were the #1 show of the night. So then they did the 1 hour, and it was just a couple of months after that. One of our shows have been #1 since then. So thanks to you guys for 5-6 years of success of the shows. And we're in over 140 countries now, which is a
Is that right?
nice thing.
140 countries?
140 countries, and we're dubbed into every language you can think of. It's really funny. You may or may not know I'm single, and I haven't had any luck in the
Oh, they
dating
know.
world. So
They know. If we could turn the lights on, he's the only dude here right now. It's all women.
what I've discovered is,
There we go.
Oh, you're right.
oh hi.
Hold on, let me just check one thing. How many?
go ahead.
we both have the same thought here. Let's hear a little sound there. How many of you are single ladies out there? I knew it.
So my
just lost
point
all of
was,
Yeah.
in the Spanish version of the show, Hermanos al Obra, I am so much sexier. So I thought about finding the guy who dubs our voices and just having him follow behind me with like a little speaker on me so that he can translate.
They did a commercial with us where they had the commercial was dubbed over and it had us on a turnstile when we were shooting it in fitted white T-shirts. And
This is the
Jonathan's-
Latin American.
Yeah, Latin American, and Jonathan's turning around, holding a sledgehammer, flexing, and it's like, "Is your man strong?" It says it in Spanish. "Is your man strong?" And then it said one other thing: "Is your man handy?"
Is he strong? It's just Drew flexing. Is he handy? It's me with a sledgehammer. Is he sensitive? It's Drew with a puppy. But you don't see what it is. You just think it's all one man, and then
It cuts to a wider of me as I turn around, and they dubbed me in a super low super low Spanish voice, going, "Hola."
Yeah.
And then it pops it saying,
Yeah, the slogan was, well, it doesn't come in just one man. It comes in two. Hermanos al
Oh,
Obra.
my God.
Yeah. You may realize we don't take ourselves too seriously. So we, whenever they come to us with some wild ideas, it was the same with HGTV. They said, for Brother versus Brother, for example, I don't know if you saw the commercials with us doing like the, men are flying off roofs
an
and
Avengers
crashing through
Marvel
walls
movie.
and everything. Well, at first they were like, we want it to be totally different. We want it to be like a movie trailer. And they're like, okay, guys, what have you been smoking?
because we wanted to do all this
Let's,
jumping and
right.
smashing and.
So they let us do it, and then the commercial went viral. Everybody picked it up, every news outlet, and the show, it broke their ratings, highest rated series they've ever done. So the second season, they're like, whatever you want. So we brought in the stunt team that did Iron Man and Avengers and everything, and we were doing the Iron Man drop,
Yeah.
and we were crashing
Wow.
through walls.
Yeah, it was a blast.
It drew the whole time. It's like,
Yeah, well, actually, the first time we did, so the one thing we did that second season, it was the Thor hammer strike. I was
Right.
doing that to smash his desk. Did anybody see that commercial? Anybody? Yeah, a couple of you guys. So it was basically, I went from 30-foot scaffolding, I jumped off with a big sledgehammer, and I smashed his desk, and it shatters into pieces. The funny thing is they had it stuffed with feathers for dramatic effect. I'm like, what contractor keeps feathers in his desk?
designer.
Anyway,
contractor.
so when I did this, we did a rehearsal day, and they're going to film the rehearsal anyway, and we're wired up and stuff. And Jonathan was a little nervous. He said he was getting a little bit of butterflies up there.
You're hanging
we're
at
both testing it.
35 feet above on a rope
Yeah.
where they're just going to pull the pin.
And so-
would you not be a little nervous?
He looks over at me and he's like, "Are you a little nervous?" And I'm like, "No." And I race off the edge, and I'm like, because they're the Marvel guys. I'm like, they know what they're doing. Yeah, these $20 million actors on the line there with them. They know what they're doing. So I leap off the end and I just go all out and I do it. That's
We
the one
forgot
they
to
printed.
hook you up.
No, they printed it, so that I didn't even have to do it again. They actually recorded the rehearsal
it.
and we were good to go. So it's exciting, some of the stuff we get to do.
You guys have a much better promo budget than the Today Show. That's amazing. We have no Iron Man stunt people. So how did they originally find you guys, though? Because there are a lot of real estate agents and contractors out there.
Yeah.
Well, how did they identify you to start with?
Which is actually, this is the business side of how we are, and we've always been ever since we were kids. When you're an actor, a lot of actors just see themselves as someone who sits there, waits for their agent to call for an audition, and then they do it. That's all they do. We've never seen ourselves just as a talent that you wait for your agent to do something. We're always the go-getters going out there doing
Which
it.
is code for we're annoying.
Yeah, we're annoying. But so when I went back to Vancouver to pursue acting again, I was networking. I was taking meetings with the networks. I was doing everything. Sometimes it's the things that's annoying that the networks don't want, but I was really driven. I saw myself as a business and a brand. And so that's how I had met somebody who was casting for a couple other host-driven shows. Stayed in touch. I kept doing what I used to do with our business as well, always staying in touch with past clients and past relationships. And then it came back around when they had this other idea for a show that was terrible. And then Property Brothers.
And that was the interesting thing, too, because at the time we weren't pitching ourselves. in our company, everything as it was. We were just, oh, here's an opportunity. Here's a show that they need a host who has real estate experience. Hey, we could do this. But we had started, when we started our real estate company, so from when we were investing ourselves and buying flips and doing that, we were making good money. And there was a time where we were doing other jobs at the same time, and then we got too busy with the real estate that that's all we did. And then our friends, some of our friends started saying, hey, you're having success. Why don't you invest with us and we'll do something together? Then we're like, well, if we're doing it with other people, we should really know what we're doing. Drew got licensed. I went to school for construction design, started our company, and then the company exploded. We wanted to be that one-stop shop where we raised the bar, and no matter what our clients needed, if it was buying, selling, renovations, staging their home to sell. We had our own little warehouse of staging goods. Everything and anything, we could do it in-house, and it paid off because no one else was really doing that. And before we knew it, that's when Drew had been staying in touch with this producer, and they loved the idea, and my dream home came Property Brothers.
So you guys, I mean, you worked at it. This didn't fall into your lap.
It's
You
the
guys
longest
made this
overnight.
happen.
Yeah, well, people say that all the time. Oh, you guys have these overnight success that you got so lucky and da-da-da. We started our first company at 7 years old. Like literally, we turned 7. My dad's like, "Happy birthday, get a job." And so we have always been driven. We're always. If you want to know what the company was, by the way, if you don't know, does anyone know yet? You know, so it was. We made coat hangers, these decorative coat hangers. We would weave in nylon. It's like something you see arts and crafts. You see in your grandma's closet with a little rosette. We made those. And
When you were 7?
When we were 7, yeah.
This wasn't my parents either, because we had a business name. We called ourselves Jam Enterprises, John, Andrew, Mom, and
our slogan was,
yeah,
we take care of your hang-ups.
made little business cards and crayon colored them and whatnot. So, but people were like, oh, it's sweet, 2 little kids doing a little something. We were selling door to door in our neighborhood at the holiday and whatnot, and we ended up meeting this woman who owned a chain of American paraphernalia stores in Japan, and she started buying them by the thousands and sending them over to
you're
Japan.
7?
7 years
So
old.
we
were
hired
making
our
thousands.
older
Who was
brother.
making the hangers at
We
7
did.
years old?
We were
No.
watching cartoons and we were
Weaving
weaving
around
them.
there.
We hired our friends. My mom would do the rosettes for us and stuff, and it was fun. But my parents always encouraged us when we were little. One thing my dad that I can remember him saying to us when we were little is, if anybody ever tells you can't do it, find 5 ways to do it. Never let someone stop you from going after your goals. And it really stuck with us when we were young.
Yeah.
And when we were old.
It was like reverse child labor. We were,
on
my
ourselves.
parents retired. Actually, it's funny. So we're Scottish, so we would fly to Scotland to visit our family, and on one of the trips, my parents' credit cards got frozen because they thought, oh, it's fraud, using it in another area. And so we, as the 2 7-year-olds, had to bail out my parents for 3 days until the new credit cards
No.
came. Yeah.
Did you
really?
I hold it against them every day.
Wow.
I was calculating the interest, with crayon.
Fronted your parents.
We fronted
the
our
cash
parents
for
to
3 days.
Scotland.
You have a 6-year-old and 8-year-old.
I got a 6-year-old and 8-year-old.
Imagine them front you.
They've never fronted me a nickel.
Lazy
No.
little
Kids are so
brat.
lazy
No.
nowadays.
I've skimmed off the top of her Girl Scout cookie money. But
There you go, there you go.
All right, so let's talk about Dream Home. This
Yeah.
is the new book, the massive runaway bestseller.
Yeah, I
Why
think we sold
Dream?
1 million copies today.
Today alone.
We're already a #1 bestseller on Amazon, which is great. So thanks again to everybody who's out there.
You
And
guys did it, yeah. So why Dream Home? What's the theme here?
well, the whole thing here, I mean, this is right from the beginning of when we were working with clients as well, and always trying to help them into their dream home. This is our process. It's some of our personal stories. It's some of the trials and tribulations that we've had. We even talk about some of the mistakes that we made in the beginning and what we learned from, because we want you guys to be able to learn from our mistakes so you don't have to make the same
Not our
ones.
hairstyle mistakes. We didn't include that in there if anyone
Yeah,
remembers
there's
the
some of
first
that
season.
too.
But what we noticed when we were starting to research, we had a lot of information that we gathered over the years. And like I said, we wanted to raise the bar to really offer our clients great service. So a lot of insight there. But we started researching, we realized that there was no book that somebody could just grab that would cover every scenario that they might come across in home space. There's stuff about finance and there's stuff about renovation and whatnot. This is the first book, and I'm not being biased because I wrote it, or Drew and I wrote it. It's the first book where everything is in one place and everything is easily categorized. So you don't have to look all over the place to answer any question you would come across.
It's that sort of easy step-by-step for buying, selling, renovating, or even if you have a place, even if you're renting and you just want to make it feel a little bit more stylish, you want to make it feel a little more like home, we're giving you steps that don't have to cost much. Don't have to cost anything.
It's like the next best thing to having us there. But we were saying
But
earlier
it
today,
talks less.
It
which
does
is
talk a
nice.
lot less.
Trust me, it's nice.
We've got like the Willy Wonka ticket in one of them that I'm going to go home with one of the books. So we'll find. No.
To renovate a kit, yeah.
There's
That would
one
be
of them
great.
here tonight.
Woo!
Remember, ladies, he's single. That's fantastic. So do you guys feel like you should buy your dream home, or do you buy a house that can become your dream home? In other words, put the time, the money, the effort into making it your dream home?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, everyone is so different. Some people, it's worse than nails on a chalkboard to think of going through a renovation. Like some people just can't stand the thought of that. You see us work with fixer-uppers all the time. If you can afford a house that's brand new or move-in ready, then that's great. We always say to people, then go for it. You can't beat that. To be the first one to use your master bathroom, it's amazing. But anyway, it's a good thing. But not everyone out there can do that. And so Property Brothers is finding other ways through a fixer-upper to get into your dream home. Myself, though, for me, my dream home, it would still be me doing the work. So I would find something that's a big old property.
Wait, you doing the work?
I would personally call Jonathan and say, hey, buddy. But
Do you still do any work, by the way?
you know what? To be honest, I'm back doing a little bit.
Are you?
Because on Brother versus Brother, we design our own houses. We do the renovations on our own houses, and then it's competing. So whoever flips and makes more money wins. Then all the money goes to local charity. And this next season, when it comes out in June, you guys are gonna love it. The renovations are bigger, the competition's bigger. I will admit as well, even on Property Brothers, Jonathan is now getting me to pop in here and there to help him again. It's just like the good old days, right?
Yeah. I just have to go back and redo everything after. But to go back to your question about what is the dream home, and as Drew said, every client's different, but also what you want in a dream home is different from time to time too.
Right.
So, after you have a family, maybe your dream home changes. Our sole philosophy is that your home should make your life easier. And something that makes your life easier is different than something that makes my life easier. So we say, say for example, you have 4 kids or something like that. You spend half your life doing laundry. Well, maybe it's worth spending a little bit more on the laundry facility. That way, who knew that you can get washers and dryers today that do an extra large capacity load in 15-minute wash, 15-minute dry. That would free up a lot of time. So everyone's different. And so what I love when I'm designing a space is I can make any place pretty, but how do I get the house to function better for this family's situation? That's the challenge.
You guys live in Vegas. Do you live in your dream homes?
In bunk beds, yeah.
Yeah, we have bunk beds. Well, who here saw Property Brothers at home? The reno we did last year? You did? Who likes the slide? Yeah. So we sold our individual houses in Vegas, and we just got this one. We call it the Scott Family Compound. We got the one place because I only get home typically 2-3 weeks a year.
A year?
Yeah, because we're filming on the road, and instead of spending my weekends traveling, I'll stay where we are and focus on some.
I like my bed.
He'll go home a couple of times a month. And so this year we were actually filming in Vegas, so I got to stay at home for 3 months. But my girlfriend and I are looking in LA right now. I love our home in Vegas, and we'll have that for a long time. That's where all our family gets together with the holidays. We built a guest house next door for my parents as well, which is nice to have them close when there's.
They've actually been staying there since Christmas. So they just left on the 1st, but my parents have been there in Vegas with us.
Is that right?
Well, it's nice too because my parents are 72 and 82, so it's nice for them to get away from the cold because they live up in the Rocky Mountains.
Literally 2 feet. A month ago, there's 2 feet of snow where they live. Yeah.
So having them close, but our family, we have a very close family dynamic, and we have a blast. It's the same on set. I'm amazed we get any work done sometimes because we laugh all day. Our crews are fantastic. The clients we work with become like family. So it's really, people say that if you really want to find the right job in life, find something that you enjoy doing, not something that you do just for a paycheck. And we really do enjoy what we do.
As you were talking, I was thinking about your family. What do your parents think about all this? That these guys who are making hangars in their house and fronting them their trips to Scotland are now Property Brothers.
No,
what do they make of it?
We have no one that's a bigger fan than my parents. And they've been amazing and supportive of us through our whole. All 3 brothers. JD, our older brother, he's a host as well. He's hosted for HGTV and GAC. And my parents. It's funny. So. We don't like our parents to make a big scene when we go out in public, but my dad still does this sometimes. We'll be walking into a restaurant, and there'll be some little busboy, 13-year-old that has no idea who we are, and my dad will go over and stop me. Hey, excuse, do you know who this is?
No.
This is the Property Brother.
No. Dad,
these are Property Brothers, and he just keeps saying
Denny's server doesn't care.
Yeah. I'm like, Dad, stop, but they're just our biggest fans.
But the funny thing too, we were a couple years back, we were in Scotland visiting friends and family. We weren't airing in the UK yet at this time, so all of our family were like, "We hear you're doing something, but we've never seen it." And so they're like, "It's coming, it's coming." But we were at a castle. We were touring a castle in Scotland, and then my dad and his brother tag teamed were grabbing tourists and saying, "Yo, you know who these guys are?" And
they don't even speak English to some of the tourists. They're like these 2 German tourists. They grab them. They don't even speak English.
But they knew who we were.
Yeah.
And so they started ranting and because we air in a lot of random European countries, and so they started, "Oh my gosh!" And so we love the fans. The fans are great, and we're very engaged through social. But it's still a little embarrassing when your parents are shoving you out there, or if you walk by because you don't necessarily like, "Hi, Jonathan here.
Right.
Hi, how are you?" So it's funny when you're walking through an airport. My parents are constantly like, "That person saw you. Those people are talking about you." That person. I'm like, okay.
Also,
okay.
when my dad did this just the other day. Someone again, doesn't know who we are, and my dad's, "Oh, you want a photo with them? You want to get a photo with them?" And the person's like, I'm good. And, no, here, I'll take it.
But I will admit one thing. Is that me hitting my mic? Sorry, guys. The one thing I did notice is, so when Property Brothers at Home aired, that again broke the records and was the highest rated series that the network had ever aired. And we realized it's because my dogs and my parents are more popular than we are.
Yeah.
So we now put them into everything. So, yeah.
Is there a property sister? I should know this. There are 3 property brothers.
Heyo!
I teed you up nicely for that.
Thank
There's
you.
no sister.
No, 3 boys.
3 boys. 3 dudes.
Yeah, my mom had a house with 4 guys in it at one time. So I don't know if that's hell or that's.
But we're all black belts in karate, so Mom was well protected. So.
All right, let's get some questions from the crowd. They're very curious here. Let's start with Michelle Goldstein. Michelle, raise your hand. Where are you?
I see a wave back there,
yeah. Guys, do you constantly have the urge to redo your home as new trends come out? You see new things, you want to put it in your house?
No, so the one thing that's a big so when we're on Property Brothers, Jonathan does a design for those homes that is a bit of his influence. Like any good designer, their job is to take you outside your comfort zone a little bit and show you what you wanted that you didn't know you wanted. However, whenever I'm doing design or whenever we're doing our own home or on Brother versus Brother, I'm not renovating for someone else specifically. I typically do renovations that I know are going to appeal to the masses and will have more mass appeal. I like a more modern feel, but then I like to infuse some rustic elements into it. So I call it rustically modern, whereas Jonathan likes to call his style elegant. What is it?
Elegantly eclectic.
Yeah, elegantly eclectic.
Now I'll actually answer the question. So the. So I do like from season to season doing something to freshen up. So you'll notice that I always say keep the big ticket items fairly neutral, and then change out things like throws and pillows and curtains and stuff like that throughout the year. The challenge with my house, our house, is we're not there a lot, so I only see my house twice a month.
Right.
So if I was to change all the time, it would be like I just started enjoying this and I've changed it. So we finished the renovation on the house last June, and other than minor little tweaks, I haven't changed anything. But I think probably
I haven't changed anything either.
Oh no! So we finished at home. So at home finished June of last year. The renovation finished. Literally a week after we finished, the largest residential renovation I have ever done in my life. Drew's like, "Yeah, I want a bigger closet. Rip the garage out." And so he made me rip 17 feet out of the back of one of the garages and add it to his closet.
Hey, you got a big wardrobe just like me. Come on, no?
Well, I could see that, my friend. You got a big walk-in situation?
Yeah, so I decided to add 17 feet onto the closet there. So the funny thing is, so my girlfriend's 5 feet tall.
So you know
just
she's
over
using
5
this
feet.
much of it.
She's right over here. But her clothes are so tiny and her shoes are so tiny, so she has this much of the closet. I have everything else.
Really?
The
You're the diva.
I am the diva.
Yeah. There's so the 12-foot ceilings. He has shoe racks going all the way to the ceiling. So Linda had asked if I can put one of those library ladders in that slides around the thing. I'm like, come on, guys, priorities. Yeah. But anyway, so no, yeah, you do constantly want to change things from time to time. The bigger concern for me is there's always a punch list when you own a house. There's always stuff that has to be fixed. So my list, I'll go away for a month or 2 months, and I'll come back, and I always do a walk around. I'm like, oh, there's like 10 more things, 20 more things on the list. I have to knock those off before I go and do anything aesthetic.
What I was going to add too, though, is we do design, especially for our own place as well, that we know is going to stand the test of time. It's not something that's going to go out of style in a day, which is some of the information in Dream Home as well. A lot of people like to do very specific designs to their taste, but you always have to think of resale value. If you do some really bold, crazy pattern or color in your stone countertop, the bolder it is, the quicker it's going to go out of style. So we always try and encourage people to be a little bit more neutral with any of the big ticket items in your house. Even paint sometimes, be a little more neutral. And then use art, decor, throws and pillows. Use those to pop up your color and patterns. Easier to change out.
As you said that, I was thinking I did a couple, about 2-3 years ago, Michael Jordan was trying to sell his house.
Yeah, the $45 million mansion.
Yeah, so they had us come from the Today Show and do like a walking tour of Michael Jordan's house. And to your point about making it resellable, he had the Jumpman logo painted on the ceiling of every room. He had 23 on every door that went into every room. It was a tough resale.
Yeah,
I think
someone had asked us through our PR channel. Someone asked us if we wanted to come and do a walkthrough and give some pointers on how to increase the value of the $45 million home. And I knew, because I saw some pictures, some of it's very old school, like super old school elegance.
Yes.
And then you also see a lot of the Jumpman action.
neon Jumpman.
Yeah, I was like, I can tell you a few things via email. I don't even have to come out to see it.
No, it's better you didn't waste your time.
You look
to go
into
out there.
some places, and you know, I always liked watching lifestyles of the rich and famous too
Yeah.
when I was younger, because you'd see all this stuff, and I would always be like, these people have money. Why is it so tacky?
Yeah.
And like if you see in New York, we're in New York. If you see Trump's place here, it is all gold, and there I'm like. As a kid, I knew that looked tacky. So, but
Yeah.
some people, they only like to
Huge
brag.
resale value.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Fun secret about Trump's apartment: when you go in, you have to put little booties on your shoes to walk around.
You know what?
You don't want to catch what he
Very
has.
precious.
I kind of like the idea of that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Little politics for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, let's get another question here. What qualities should we
I
look
like how the
for?
going number is like 40 minutes per question, though. So I
Yeah, it's
apologize.
good.
We'll trim our
We'll
answers. We talk a lot.
What qualities should we look for in a contractor to avoid renovation headaches? What are we looking
Amazing
for?
hair,
Long
a
walk.
great butt. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's why our show's rated so high. All the slow motion renovations in tight jeans. That's all it takes.
yeah.
Secret.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information. It's in the book. It's also on my Facebook page under. We have Scott Logic articles, and one's called "Who's Your Contractor?"
Under the photo album.
Yeah, there's certain things. Anytime someone said to me, "Oh, my contractor ripped me off," and they took off, inevitably. There's one of the things on my list that they didn't do. They did not get the quote in writing or the contract in writing. They did not check them out, check previous work, talk. People love bragging about renovations they've had done. So ask the contractor for some references. Go see how it was. Make sure they have professional affiliations like Better Business Bureau, a home warranty program, something like that, Home Builders Association. Because if someone is a contractor and they're setting themselves up like a business, then they'll be there for you if there's warranty work to happen down the road. But if there's somebody who changes their cell phone number every 2 weeks, that's a shady person.
Yeah.
And if you get that gut feeling or that red flag pops up, listen to it. There are more shady contractors out there than there are legit ones, so be
Really?
careful. Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
it's like a lot of businesses too. You know, even real estate agents, I'm legally not allowed to slander my own people.
But I ain't one, and I will.
There are real estate agents out there that are just in it for the quick buck, and I don't like that, because we are supposed to be there for the client, whatever is best for the client. So when I was showing houses or when I was listing houses. When I was out there with clients, I never looked at the commission, what the commission was when I was looking at a house for a client to buy. I would just look at what would work for what they're looking for. However, there are a lot of people out there that just sit, oh, this is a high commission, they're offering a bonus here. Here, this is the house for you, let's look at it. That's not looking in the best interest of the client.
There's a lot of things too, and so the biggest thing about the book is it gets you asking the questions that you should be asking yourself. It gets you asking the questions that you should be asking other professionals that you're working with. But that I think that for me, if you look at on a contractor side, if you look at somebody that you want to use, one, you want to make sure they're licensed. Absolutely make sure that they're licensed. But the city does not check as to whether or not they're any good at their job. They just make sure that they're licensed and fit the criteria of someone who can legally operate. So you have to do the research to make sure that they're good. And in most states, a contractor can't ask for a deposit up front at all unless they're bonded or unless they're part of a home builders association. So a lot of contractors will say, yeah, it's 30 grand up front and we'll get going, and then a month later they take off with the money and half finished job. So that's a big thing people don't realize, that contractors need to be bonded if they're going to take your money up front.
Even with a bonded contractor, how do you know you're not getting ripped off on price? I don't know how much the supply costs. I don't really know what the labor costs.
Yeah.
How do you know going in?
It's really tough, because if it's a high demand area, there are a lot of people doing renovations here in New York, and as you know, it can get very expensive here. You just need to get a few quotes. Like anything you're doing, quote it out. Even for real estate agents, you talk to different real estate agents. Commissions are completely negotiable. However, for example, myself, I never reduced my commission just to try and get the client. I always would just show them, this is what I do, this is what I work for, and this is what I'm doing for that dollar. So if you get enough quotes, you're going to get an idea. If you get 3 or 4 or 5 quotes, you're going to get an idea of what a rough value is for what you're doing. But sometimes, that's not to say you have random quotes. We were putting in a security fence, and we were literally given something like 4 or 5 quotes. The first one came in at $200,000 for a friggin' fence. And then the second one, because it was an automated fence, the second one came in I think at 120.
Yeah, there was a range of like $100,000 between.
And then down to 40 or something.
And it's insane. So you will get the biggest problem, and this is the worst one here, is you'll get a good contractor who is running his business who will take on too many jobs. So now he's not servicing any of his clients properly. So that's the challenge. So it can still be someone who's honest, but they're underwater and they're having trouble.
Some of them are just terrible with business. That's what they're good at what they do. And one other thing to keep in mind for you guys, then we'll go back to the questions again. There's another long answer, but not every contractor is a designer like Jonathan. It's very, very rare, or vice versa. Not many designers are contractors. If you find a designer, though, a lot of times they have relationships with contractors and good contractors, and they might even have a couple that they work with. So that if you're doing a renovation and you want to have that design side of it, like what you see on Property Brothers, that's a good idea. Find the designer first, and the rest will fall into place.
Okay, that's good advice. As I go to the next question, when I watch the show, you do a great job of keeping a stoic face when I know you want to say something to your client, like, you should buy this damn house.
Oh,
Yeah,
Or you should not buy this damn house.
I have never
How
wanted
do you-
to throat shop a client.
How do you keep
never.
it together? Because you always do. You always
Yeah.
keep your cool about you.
You know, as much as I get a lot of stress with the clients changing their minds, what they're looking for, or clients do this all the time, they'll say, I only want to look in this neighborhood. Don't waste my time showing me anything anywhere else. I only want to look here. And I show them there, and then like the next day they pull up a list and they're like, why didn't you show me this? I'm like, because it's a mile that way and you said you didn't want to look there.
Right.
But he gets it worse than I do with all the change orders and stuff during the renovation. At the end of the day, we know buying, selling, renovating, this is pretty much the most stressful thing, or one of the most stressful things in people's lives. And so we know they're going to bark a little bit. People yell a little bit. They need to vent. It's stressful. I just am there to be the.
That's why Drew spends so much time at the spa.
Yeah,
Just to
letting
melt
out the stress.
It out.
all of that
Let them
away.
vent.
In fact, tell us about your day-to-day. How was that at the spa?
You know,
the tension
yeah,
on your
okay,
shoulders?
so I told him, I didn't even tell you, I don't think. We've been doing press yesterday and today. This is the second day of the book tour. It's important to pace yourself. Drink
Yeah.
lots of water. This is
Yes.
water, not vodka.
Yep.
And I went for a half-hour spa visit just before we came here.
I was in meetings right up until the second.
I was like,
we
I
walked
need
in
this.
here.
This is
Yeah.
good. So I went for a quick half hour, had a little dinner, and then I'm back here. See? I have good energy now.
I picked the wrong gig.
All right, let's get to Lauren. She said, do you have any advice for renters in New York City who want to tackle DIY in their apartment but have to avoid upsetting a landlord, violating a lease, or ways to freshen up a small space without making permanent changes? That's a good question. We rent our apartment, and you wonder, is it worth investing in a place that I don't even own, that I'm going to leave maybe in a year or 2 years?
Yeah,
What do you say to that?
So a lot of the investment usually comes in sweat equity. It's your time that you're putting in. Some landlords are great in the sense that if you're improving the property, hey, no problem. Like if you were going to paint it, if you tell them, I'll let you approve the color if I can do it, hey, no problem. Some landlords, absolutely not. They will not let you touch it at all. So then you can look for other ways to break it up. Wall hangings, curtains. Area rugs are a great way to add a little bit of color that help define a space without closing things off. So that's what we say. And then especially the smaller the space, the more multi-purpose furniture you want to have. So like an ottoman or a coffee table that also acts as storage. Having shelving that goes nice and high so you can elevate stuff. We did a segment today on one of the talk shows we were doing, talking about like in your bathroom, that space above the toilet that most people just leave sitting empty or have that ridiculous 2-inch cabinet above it. Put some open shelves there so you can get stuff elevated off the floor and gives you more storage.
One thing to keep in mind if you are renting and you're looking to do any improvements like Jonathan said, a lot of landlords, if you have a good relationship with them, they will offset the cost if you want to put in it. So say, for example, you spent $2,000 painting the whole place. And a lot of them may knock your rent down by $200 a month and then amortize that over a certain period of time. To pay. So if you have a good relationship and they know you're not going to do something crazy like Pepto-Bismol pink walls, a lot of times you can get some reimbursement.
And then other landlords will just laugh in your face.
Yeah, if they're a slumlord, they'll do that. If they're a landlord, then they'll work with you.
Okay, this one's a departure. Jonathan, can you do a magic trick?
Do a magic trick. Sure.
Sasha, this one's for you, Sasha.
Can I get some lights in the house? Can we turn the lights up in the house? Let's try something kind of fun
really
here.
gonna do one?
Well, you have to do it with me too. All of you guys have to do
Okay.
it. Everyone put your hands up like this. This is pretty fun. Now go like this. And I go like this. Oh my God, you're so easy. All right. So put your thumbs down like this and reach over with your right hand and interlink all of your fingers with your right hand pinky on top. Have your right hand pinky on top. You guys are the other way around. So your right hand pinky. And now watch closely. If you'd have the right hand pinky on top and just go like this, like that, and straighten it out without letting go.
What?
If I could have a picture of what you all look like right now. What the?
He doesn't know any magic tricks.
That's
That's a long way of saying no.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any magic tricks.
Anyway.
Okay. Jonathan, what are some projects a novice can safely and competently undertake by herself when doing a renovation?
Keyword herself. That means you can do a lot more than himself. Which is true actually these days. So easy, mostly aesthetic kind of stuff. So definitely things like painting, trim, baseboard, even flooring. There are great videos online. You can go on Google and get a video from a professional contractor to do almost anything, even putting in cabinets. Leave the important stuff. Anytime you're doing structure, electrical, plumbing, leave it to a licensed professional. With the exception, it is actually pretty straightforward if you cut the power at the breaker to just swap a fixture, but you have to follow the instructions. And if you are confused at all, sometimes you'll get a house that doesn't have a black and a white wire. They've actually got 2 black wires or something like that. If there's anything that is confusing, bring in a professional.
Who's confused just by him saying black and white wires?
Yeah, explain that. A lot of
Well, you'll get people who will tweet. They'll tweet me and they'll be like, "So I'm wanting to remove this wall. How do I know if it's okay to remove this wall?" By you tweeting me that question, don't touch any walls.
Yeah.
So don't just start swinging the
Swinging
sledgehammer.
sledgehammers,
Yeah.
hitting stuff. Yeah, no.
Hitting the beams. Don't do
Actually,
that.
one other thing on the other side, on the real estate side of it, a lot of people say to us all the time, I don't want to pay a real estate commission. I want to sell my house on my own. Think about it. If you're working your full-time job, you may even have a family, so that's like 2 full-time jobs or more. And then you're trying to list your house. You're doing all the showings. You're setting up showings. You're trying to negotiate. This is really, really, really tough. So it's important for you to value your time and value the quality of what you're doing. If you don't know how to write a legally binding contract, why would you try? If you are emotionally attached to the property, which pretty much every homeowner is, then you're not the best person to be negotiating on that property. So it's really worth it for you, for the sanity part of it, to bring in a professional to work with you.
I love this one because I sympathize at having young children of my own, and because she drew the layout of her apartment on the card.
Name on the back. Yeah.
Yes.
This
thorough.
is from Kira. Many New York City apartments have long, narrow living rooms. That's true.
Yeah.
What are some ideas to create kid-friendly family rooms in spaces like these? And there's your layout. To
All
work
right,
with.
I like the layout. So it's a
Yeah.
long living room, then you have bedroom 1, bathroom, bedroom 2, and then you have a little galley kitchen at the end of the other side. So what I would say, which is great with a layout like that, is that you actually can divide that into 2 spaces. So you can have your main living space if it's something for the adults, and then you could sort of have that sort of a TV area, or you could have like a fun area, something for games, for extra storage. Kids need lots of storage, and they need fun furniture, something that's loungy, something that's casual. That's a great layout, though, to be able to do something like that. But who is this? Where are you?
Is it Kira or Kiara?
Kira? You over there? All right.
How
Thank
old
you,
are your
thank you.
kids?
Oh,
The nice.
you got time.
Yeah,
You got time.
And that's the big thing. I love having baskets. Baskets are so easy, just so under shelves, under furniture. The other option is to ship the kid off to boarding school. Problem solved.
Easy.
Is age 1 too early in your estimation?
Might be, but hey, why start late?
Yeah.
The one thing I would say, because it's an open space, if you have a separate room or something you can close with, putting in some French doors, it's easier to go really wild with the kid colors and the fun colors. With an open space, best for you to keep it slightly more neutral, so that if you have guests over or whatnot, and again, having lots of built-in storage or functional multi-functioning pieces, like a table that's also stored, because then when you have friends and family over, you're not always cluttered with toys everywhere. So
That's the key in a New York apartment. You don't want it to look like romper room.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
adults over for a dinner party and it's just dolls and
Exactly.
everything else. That's not good.
yeah, keep your dolls. Tucked
Yeah.
in the.
Yeah, I was talking about me.
Little known
Yeah,
fact,
my
Willie
doll.
has a doll collection.
Yeah.
So.
My office is close to American Girl.
We used to have, I remember as a kid,
couple
we would
times a
walk
week.
around. My aunt had these dolls. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. They're the
good.
creepiest bloody things I've ever seen. But we, as kids, we're like, why? This is not good design. There were these dolls that were just like this.
Everywhere.
So they would lean against the wall,
bathroom, in
and
the
they're about this
hallway.
tall, like that.
Oh.
And she had them all over the house. So it was just like timeout
But
zone.
they're clothed. They're clothed like with real clothes and a hat, and then they have like this fake hair down. Like it's just creepy.
And she had this moving picture where the eyes would follow you.
Oh, come on.
So we hated going to our aunt's house. It was a terrible experience.
Stardust.
Something was deeply wrong with your aunt.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, just so you guys
She's in
understand.
prison now. I don't-
Oh, she's in prison.
Not really.
Back to the questions in a second, but you were on the Today Show a couple months ago talking about, for me it came out of nowhere, your country music career.
Yeah.
This is like Brooks and Dunn over here. These guys So, but like your videos have 6-7 million views on YouTube. Where did that come from?
Yeah, so we have the video for Hold On. We have two songs, Hold On and Let the Night Shine In. They're both on iTunes, but Hold On, the videos come out. We grew up on a ranch, and so we were country kids growing up, and we used to spend every weekend or every other day just sitting around the campfire, strumming the guitar, singing with our parents. We used to get hired out to sing at events, and my dad would play the guitar. And so we were filming. Did anyone see Property Brothers at Home on the Ranch? That show? It was a ranch renovation we did last year for a family friend's ranch back up where we grew up. And we thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we wrote a couple of songs to sort of pay tribute to how we grew up? And so a singer-songwriter, producer friend of ours in Nashville, and she's worked with everyone, Garth Brooks, she created Lady Antebellum, and she's this big name in Nashville. She said, why don't I write it with you? We'll co-write. So her and another producer, Chad Carlson, and the two of us locked ourselves in an apartment here in New York. Took two days, we wrote these two songs. Less than a month later, we were down in Nashville recording. Less than a month after that, we were actually doing the music video.
And we did it just for the show. We thought this would be great, kind of it's a very nostalgic working in this area. And then all of a sudden, the views started going up, and they started going up. We started getting airplay. We went to #1 on Vivo, which is like YouTube. We went to #1 in the country charts. We Billboard charted, and all of a sudden,
24 on the Billboard charts in the country. Yeah.
Last week, we were at the Grand Ole Opry. The Grand Ole Opry invited us, so we introduced the act there, and then we're going to be back there in 2 months actually performing at the Grand Ole Opry.
Which is, it's kind of, it's mind-blowing for us because if you guys don't know, so we played at the Bluebird Cafe, and we were invited to play there, and the Grand Ole Opry. Those are two venues in Nashville that anyone in the music scene knows. It is an honor and a half to be invited, and we even have friends of ours that are country artists that have been performing years, big names that haven't been invited, and so we're like, why are you inviting us? Go invite them.
Taylor Swift and Adele will not stop calling me now. It's crazy, guy. Ladies, come on.
Do we have a suitable band name for you guys?
Yeah, better than our old band name. So when we were younger, when we were just, this is just out of high school, we were trying to think, this is actually us and our older brother Jamie.
We had agreed to never talk about this.
Yeah. I don't mind embarrassing ourselves. So we were looking at each other. I remember sitting. This is at university. We're sitting in our room there, and we're like, we're three not bad-looking young guys. We're good on our feet, and why are we not famous, or why are we not doing something on TV or in music or something like that? Why don't we start? There are a lot of pop boy bands, but there's no country boy bands. Why don't we start a country pop boy band? And we named ourselves Western Union. I don't know why.
There is a tape, because this is before camcorders and stuff, but there is a tape somewhere of us singing, and it wasn't bad. It never went anywhere, but you would not believe the press has tried to find footage.
So now we just go by the Scott Brothers. I think it's a little cleaner and easier.
Yeah.
But has anybody heard Hold On? Anybody heard the song? A couple of you guys? Yeah, if you go on, pop on YouTube or Vivo and just type in Scott Brothers, you'll see it pop up. It's called Hold On.
Or if you go to the 92nd Street Y, you might get a live performance of it.
Oh!
All right, we'll give you like 2 seconds. We'll give you 2 seconds of this, just of the chorus. Ready? Hold on, I'm coming home, it's been 2.
That's enough.
That's it. Now you gotta
go online to get the riot. Yeah. But it was fun. We just said if we do the songs and the fans seem to love it, we'll do some more, and they seem to love it. So we'll write more. We'll do a full album, and we're going to collab with some friends. Yeah, eventually, when we have time. This is our agent over here. Can you give us time? Can you stop giving us shows to do? Yeah. Thank you.
You look exhausted, sir. You really do.
Yeah.
You really do. Here's a good question. How much of the actual construction work do you do?
Well, I actually do. There's a lot on my plate.
Construction?
Yeah. Is it like TV magic where you appear, you're the pretty face, then you disappear, and minions come in and do the work?
I laugh when people message me on social media and they'll be like, how do you do it all by yourself? It's amazing. I'm like, I do 10 projects at a time.
We do 60 in a year.
Yeah, it's impossible. So, no, I have phenomenal crews. So we're here filming in New York for the next 3 months. We're going to be in mostly Westchester, but all the way from the Bronx right up Connecticut. And I have 5 full crews running on my projects, my 16 projects that I will be doing by the time I'm done. And so I go in, depending on the budget, the tighter the budget, the more I do on a project, because I don't charge for my time. And if we come across, people will see that we have a problem in the walls that we discover, and if the contingency doesn't cover it, I jump in and I do what we need to do because I don't charge. So that's quite often how we'll stretch the budget a lot more to save the homeowners.
And that's also why he's also bringing me in a little bit.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, people think I would just play it up. I used to do the hands-on work, and that was fine. I don't like it. I like keeping clean. And the worst thing for me, who here's done a renovation? Who's done even a little project? Okay, a few hands. Who here has had insulation touch them? It's disgusting. And he's like, he rolls in it. He's like, oh, this is so much fun.
It's like the best
bathes
thing.
in it.
I wrapped him in insulation.
Oh my
We did
God!
that
In
at
my
home.
suit.
Yeah.
One of my nice suits.
But it's
I threw it out.
He goes to the gym not like every day. He goes to the gym and he's touching dirty, sweated on equipment and all that jazz. I'm like, I will take insulation over athlete's foot any day. So.
I pre-wipe the equipment before I use it.
But that's the big thing. So I'm doing all the projects that you see, but I'm never going to be in there laying 4,000 square feet of flooring. I have flooring guys. I have kitchen people. The big thing for me is I use the shows as a platform to try and educate people as to what they should expect. So yeah, there's no physical way that I could do everything on the project.
Plus, too, if you think the shows are just one aspect of what we do, we own the production company. We produce a couple of the shows that we're in as well as shows with other talent. And on top of that, we have, Scott Living, our home furniture collections, and we have a bunch of other projects on the go. So when we're not on the show and you don't see Jonathan or myself doing Property Brothers, we are literally in other meetings or doing something else. Our days are long days, but we like what we do. If we didn't like what we were doing, we wouldn't be doing it.
It is a good way when you have a twin. This is my business advice to any of you. If you're getting into business, have a twin. It's the easiest thing. So we divide and conquer everything. So when I'm working, because when the construction starts, pretty much Drew's done. He doesn't have to come back until the end when the construction's done. So then he will swing in and he'll head up everything on the production company side. So there's always this balance of, what we're working on.
How often do his clients choose a home that you go, oh, Jesus, I don't want to deal with that house?
Oh.
Like I said, we have 60 shows a year.
Yeah, there's
60.
There's a lot.
That's how many.
There's only, fortunately, knock on wood, there's only been one where the homeowner refused to listen to us. They bought the house we told them not to buy. There's nothing we could do. This house was so bad, it had sunk, and the back of the house had sunk about 1.5 feet, and he didn't want to do everything to code. He wanted to just raise the floor up. So think of this, the house sunk. He wanted to raise the floor up to be level. The back of it was 6 feet height in the back of the
Yeah,
so
at the front,
illegal.
The front of the living room was just over 7 feet. The back of the living room was under 6 feet. So I was like hitting my head here.
Alice in Wonderland.
So we had already filmed. We'd filmed the purchase. We filmed. And we're like, we can't do it because he's trying to cheat and he's trying to not go code
so
and everything.
cut him
So
out.
we had to bail.
Yeah,
so we lost days and days of filming with this couple. But
That
fortunately,
is a
that's
money
all the time.
pit. He's never going to make money back on that house. Yeah.
How about this one? What's the most unexpected must-have tool on your tool belt?
Him.
See how I set them up for these?
Have you guys pre-written these jokes?
Yeah,
Little
this
acts
is all-
over
these
here?
are all bits
What's the most unexpected tool? What was it?
that you have on your tool belt.
Most surprising,
Yeah.
unexpected
Yeah.
tool.
I have what's called a multi-tool that is pretty handy. It does everything. Like you can grind at the bottom of a jamb on a door. You can cut a perfect square in a wall. It does everything. And it's got a million different bits. It's kind of like a Dremel kind of a tool, but it's a multi-tool.
Actually, a super easy one that all of you should have if you don't get. Just one of those magic erasers. You would be surprised how amazing they are for everything, whether it's grout, whether it's, you get fingerprints on the wall by your light switches. You can clean your place up and make it look amazing just by using a magic eraser.
Can I redo my answer?
You please.
The tool you need.
Yeah. Good answer.
That's it. The only tool you
The
need.
only tool.
Here's a good one. I'm currently in graduate school, just moved into a place of my own. What are some budget-friendly options for artwork, throw pillows, other decorative things?
Convince your other students from grad school to come over for a pizza party and have them do all the work for you. Painting parties.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you guys what happened here. When we were back in the beginning, and we had a couple of, we had our own places, we were doing renovation properties, but Jonathan on his own place, he invited all of our friends over. There were like 8 of us came over. He said, guys, come over. We're going to do pizza and drinks, have a good time. But if you just help me do some painting, we'll get it out of the way. So we're like, all right, we'll come help you out.
Painting party.
8 of us came over for a painting party. We did all the painting, and at the end, for 8 of us, he pulls out a personal pan pizza and, for drinks, a jug of water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did I lie?
Wow.
He doesn't have those friends anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't do that. I would say one thing to think about. I mean, it's not a bad thing getting hand-me-downs, getting certain items, but grandma's old couch when you go to college, when you get that, there's a reason she's giving it to you. It's hideous. Ask her and she'll admit it. There are some nice things you can get though, or you can even look at getting, like refurbishing some of the stuff. If you get something that's older, an old table or chairs, or it's so easy to reupholster a chair or stain a table.
Oh, everything. You look at something like this, by the way, not that I'm saying
What would you
anything,
do with
guys.
that chair
This
right
is pretty dated looking. I'm just saying. Sorry, love you. But something like this would be it would be awesome because the style's really good. You can pop this off and reupholster. It would cost you not even $5 for the material to reupholster this.
Stand this down.
You pull off, if you've never reupholstered, very easy. Take the screws out, pull the staples out, and use the old fabric as your template to cut the new one. It is so easy. And then sand down and paint, do something with a little bit of a gloss sheen on it. And these, I've had chairs like this that all of a sudden, oh, they're kind of retro, they're kind of cool, but they look brand new. So
sweat equity. Sweat equity is what we call it. It goes a long way.
Did you almost say sex equity?
That too. That's definitely that's a side note. Anyway, but yeah, if you put a little bit of your own effort into it, it goes a long way. The other thing too, if you guys haven't checked out Scott Living, our furniture and decor, QVC.com. We have some. We just announced Costco. If you go to Costco.com, we have another couple of big announcements coming in the following month here. But a lot of our pieces, we're trying to do what we do on our show. We're giving you affordable luxury. We're giving you that higher end feel you didn't think you could afford at a reasonable price. We have some of our on QVC.com. Some of the area rugs that we have, they're indoor outdoor. They're as soft as what you would find indoor. The colors and patterns are great for any design. Yet if you wanted to use them in a basement where you're afraid there might be some mildew or you don't want it to mold, or if you want to use it outside, no problem. So there are options like that, something that you can utilize in different spaces.
Okay, we're running out of time. I want to ask, raise your hand if you've ever been sailing with the Scots. Have you been on the cruise?
Anyone go on the cruise? I know one person who went on the cruise.
My girlfriend went on the cruise.
Okay, so that doesn't count, but take me onto that cruise ship.
Okay, so we were talking about,
Talk to me.
we have a lot of friends from, New Kids on the Block to Kiss to you name it, who have done these fan cruises, and so we're like, well, it sounds like an interesting idea, and we're business guys. We started thinking about it, and we worked down. We're like, yeah, we could make this happen. So we took 2,000 fans. We bought out the entire Carnival ship, and we took 2,000 fans to the Caribbean, and it was a blast. We were the cruise directors, so we did all the activities. We did lectures.
Well, my thought was more like, what sounds better and safer for us than locking ourselves at sea with 2,000 screaming women that want to date with Jonathan? Yeah, because that's what it was. No, it was actually great.
Yeah.
I mean, we love cruising. We've done about 15 cruises ourselves, and this is the first time we did one with fans, and we gave them so much face-to-face time. Like whether you're just walking down the hall of the ship, or whether you're at dinner or at the main stage where we're doing a show or a lecture, it was a lot of great time. We brought other talent. We had Jillian Harris, we had Kim Miles, Jason Cameron, our brother JD. We brought I think 12 social media influencers, all these big Vine stars. And so all we did is make funny videos and play them for people. And we sang our songs.
Is it a lot of you guys in tank tops and tool belts walking around the ship?
Oh yeah, I had a farmer, not a farmer tan. I had a contractor tan with my tool belt.
I was gonna say the only weird thing was you're in the hot tub and Jonathan wouldn't take his tool belt off. It's kind of
it's weird, but it was fun. I would say we've done a lot of cruises. It was the most fun of any cruise we've done. We're definitely doing another one. We're gonna actually do a larger ship. So if you want to do it, don't miss out, because it did sell out. So we just like to look for ways, because this is important to us. We love being face to face. I love answering questions that you've always wondered, but when you talk to the TV screen and your friends think you're weird, well, this is face to face.
And not just on a cruise. We're actually, we do appearances throughout the year whenever we have time to, but we love going to different cities and seeing new audiences, hearing their questions, and trying to help people in person as well. And for Dream Home, this is day 2 of a 12-day book tour. So we're actually going right across the country. We're even hitting Canada. And we're going to be doing Houston, Atlanta, San Francisco, LA. We have so many different cities. So if you know anybody in other cities, get them on thescottbrothers.com, and we have under the events page where we're going to be. It's just fun for us. We love live. It's a different energy that you guys give us that we love.
Can I give you an idea for the next cruise?
Yeah.
Like a bachelor cruise for you. Jonathan finds love at sea, something
So,
like, we can work with the title.
I will tell you, I turned down being the Bachelor on ABC.
True story, right?
Yeah. And that was only handling 30 women. 3,000 women? That's too much. But anyway, no, we have fun. Everything.
Construction Cupid.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. Linda's good at coming up with.
Can we separate these two and get them to stop?
Let's work with this concept.
You know, more importantly, why don't we focus on, is 5.5 years too long not to propose to your beautiful girlfriend?
Oh.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
We are not at 5.5 yet.
Wow.
Just point out there.
guy.
If you have advice when we're doing the book signing, give him advice.
Yeah, I've got some advice for you. I'll tell you backstage.
Which by the way, we're gonna sign books and we're gonna see everybody. I don't have time to plan your entire kitchen, unfortunately. However, I'm glad you guys came down. This is great, and the questions were fantastic.
She's not laughing.
Yeah.
Guys, congratulations on the book. I'm gonna run and meet Cameron Diaz. You guys stick around. They're gonna sign some books. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job, man.